All right, so if you want to learn how to grow and scale your company, then this book that I'm going to be talking about today, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, is going to show you exactly how to do that. And I'm going to be giving you my top 5 takeaways and why every entrepreneur or business owner at any level needs to read this book. Let's jump into it. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jonathan Moore, and if you're new here, I am a photographer, videographer, and that's what I talk about on my channel. I do gear reviews, I do book reviews, vlogs, and a little bit of philosophy on life. So if that's something that you might be interested in, then hit that subscribe button so this way you always catch them new videos. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. Now, like I've mentioned before in previous videos, I have my own company, I have my own business, I do photography and video. And listen, the real deal is like for most creatives like myself, we're a one-man show. You know, we got teams that we work with, but for the most part, it's just you. Now, this book right here, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, completely changed the game and how I thought about my company, how I thought about building my company. And this book actually gave me some hope. It gave me light at the end of the tunnel, right? It let me know that there's a way that I can build, grow my company and the way that I originally imagined it when I started it. So I'm going to give you my top 5 takeaways and why everybody, every entrepreneur, business owner at any level, this is a must read. You have to read this book right here. So let me just jump into it and get started. All right, so takeaway number 1 from this book, all right, is have a vision for your business. Right? Now, here's the thing. So in this book, he brings an interesting point. He says that most small businesses fail in America, right? Because what happens is a technician is the person who starts it. So in any business, you have 3 parts. You have a technician, you have the entrepreneur, and you have the manager. Now, most people who start small businesses are technicians, right? There's somebody who's really good at what they do. Kind of like myself, right? I'm really good at taking photos and videos. So why not start that, right? So he mentions this thing, which is called the entrepreneur seizure, right? This is when a technician is like, you know what? Bump this. I'm getting rid of the boss. I'm starting my own thing. I'm going to have my own business. They don't know what they're doing. I know how to do this. Or you know what? I can actually do this. I'm going for this. Now, he calls this the entrepreneur seizure, right? Because he says what happens is most people, like I said before, are technicians. That means that they're really good at what they do. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're good at actually running a business. So step number 1, like I said, or takeaway number 1 is having a vision for your business, right? Most of the time when you start a business, you don't imagine yourself working 20 hours a day, right? Now, I actually found this book at the time that I needed it, right? Business was starting to pick up and it's like, oh, sweet, man. You know, you're like, life is good. But when you're somebody in my position, what ended up happening is I got like really overwhelmed. And when you get really overwhelmed, oh man, well, the work can suffer. You know, you're up against deadlines, and next thing you know, you're working around the clock non-stop, right? There's no clock in and clock out time when you have your own business. And this is the downfall, right? Because this is not what you picture your life to be, right? When you thought about having your own business, you thought about controlling your schedule, you thought about being able to take a vacation whenever you felt like it, right? You dreamed of having more freedom, more time freedom, more freedom with money, whatever the case is. You dreamed of having more freedom. But oftentimes what happens is when we start a business, we get stuck in the business and we end up spending more time in the business, right? And you gotta have a vision. So if you say to yourself, listen, I want a business that's, you know, I want to have more time freedom. I want to be able to spend more time with my wife or more time with my kids or more time on the beach surfing. It doesn't matter, right? You have to have a vision for it and then start taking the necessary steps to bring that vision to reality. Okay, takeaway number 2, have a way of doing business, which basically talks about systems. Now, this book is all about systems, creating and building systems. He actually uses McDonald's a lot as a reference in this book and how they have a franchise. It's a system, right? They have the business of McDonald's is a system, right? So for example, if I wanted to open up a McDonald's, right, they would send me to Hamburger University, and they wouldn't show me how to start cooking burgers, right? Because they're gonna show me how to run the business, right? They have a certain way of doing business, right? And that's what he tells us to do, to create a way of doing business, to have a system that you do things the same time all the time. It's repeatable, it's scalable, and it can be taught to people at the lowest level who have no experience doing what you do. Takeaway number 3, document every part of your business. Now, admittedly, this is something that I wasn't doing. I was just kind of just going about, right? I started my business, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm getting, new clients, I'm bringing some money in, I have some people helping me here and there. But what I began to notice for my own personal business was I had somebody who was helping me out, and there was like inconsistencies in the work. And although it wasn't the biggest deal, it just wasn't consistent. And so what I had to do was say to myself, okay, I want it to look the same way, whether I do it or whether somebody else does it, right? So it's like the whole reference about McDonald's, whether you get, a Big Mac in California or you get a Big Mac in New York, it's going to be the same, right? So have a way of doing business, which is basically creating a system that you can replicate and repeat over and over and over again, and you can teach it to anybody. Takeaway number 4, work on your business and not in it. Now, this is going to be the balancing act, especially when you first start, right? Now, as you begin to document every part of your business, as you begin to have a way of doing business, right, you can begin to start to, delegate some of these tasks and responsibilities, at which point you can begin to work on the business, growing the business, scaling the business, creating new relationships, right? Figuring out ways to innovate, create, better systems, faster ways of doing the processes that you already have in place. But the problem is that a lot of times, most of the time, okay, when we first start, we're the ones doing everything. We're the ones shooting. We're the ones taking the pictures. We're the ones editing the photos. We're the ones delivering the product. We're the ones marketing. We're the ones pitching. We're the ones, selling, all that stuff, right? We're wearing every single hat, right? And so as you begin to document every part of your business, you can begin to delegate some of those other tasks and responsibilities, which is then going to allow you to work on your business, which is growing and scaling. And takeaway number 5, last but not least, build to sell. All right, I don't know if you can see that, but I got a nice little dollar sign right there. Okay, build to sell your company, even if that isn't the intention. Now, this might sound like, especially for creative people, right? It's like, you're trying to build a McDonald's. And I know a lot of people aren't trying to hear that. Like, oh man, I ain't McDonald's. But listen, here's the thing, right? You want to build the company or your personal company in a way that will allow you to sell it years later down the road, right? So you have to have everything documented. You have to have a system, right? And if you build it to sell it, basically what you're doing is you're building a system that's independent of you, right? Because next thing you know, you can teach anybody to come in, you can show them how to run your business, and the business can keep running right then and there, right? So if you build to sell, you basically, you're franchising your business. You're making it so that it's completely independent of you, right? And that's what you ultimately want. When you have that vision of your business, you wanted more time freedom, you wanted more money, you wanted to be able to grow quickly, right? You want to grow quickly or scale faster, then you have to have these systems in place, right? So orchestrate, replicate, duplicate, you'll read all that in the book. And I'm telling you, it is a fantastic book, hands down, without a doubt. If you have any type of business, it doesn't matter if it's a huge corporation, it doesn't matter if it's a side hustle, I recommend this book to everybody. That's The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. You have to check it out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If so, please give me a thumbs up and drop me some comments below. Did you read this book, or do you have any other book suggestions that you would like to, throw in there? Let me know. I'll get back to you guys. And make sure that you subscribe, hit the little bell for the post notifications so this way you never miss a new video. And until next time, people, signing out. Peace.